What's up, everybody? Welcome to Queer Girl Straight Skates. I'm Rebel, and today we are going to be talking about 4 different ways that you can learn how to be an active bystander. So the reason why I'm talking about being an active bystander today is because there are things that happen in this world that totally suck. Bullying, harassment, assault, all sorts of direct attacks. And recently, a lot of them have been happening within the skate community, whether it's at a skate meetup, a rollout, or you just skating along and you happen to see it, or anywhere else that you might be skating, things have been happening. So I decided to make a video to show us what we can do in those situations. I've definitely spent my fair share of time witnessing situations that I didn't know how to engage in or how to help out in. And it's only through researching and learning the different methods of intervening that are still safe to you and safe to others that I've been able to step in more often than not now. So I wanted to pass along this information to you. This does not come from my head. I am not an expert. This comes from studies on the bystander effect and what we can do to decrease harassment and bullying and bring safety to our communities. So what we're doing is we're taking a little lecture in the classroom of Queer Girl Straight Teaches, and we are learning a little bit about how to be active bystanders in situations today. Before we jump into the 4 types of being a bystander, it's very important to contextualize this with what is a bystander and why is it important to be an active bystander versus just a passive bystander. So a bystander is anyone who sees something happen. Usually it is a crime or some sort of harassment or bullying or assault, and it's a person who's not directly involved in the situation but is on the sidelines and watching it happen. You don't have to be there for the whole thing in order to be a bystander. You can just see part of it, or you could see the whole thing and you would be considered a bystander. Now, the difference between a passive and an active bystander is a passive bystander is someone who sees something happen and doesn't do anything about it. Maybe they just stand there and they watch or they observe, but they don't really take action of any kind. Versus an active bystander who sees something that's happening and feels a responsibility to take action of some kind. First and foremost, more importantly than anything else, what you're doing is you're trying to create a more safe environment. So you're trying to be safe and you're trying to help the victim of whatever's happening to also be safe, and you're trying to create safety for more people in the environment that you're in. Before you take any of these steps, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to observe what's happening and decide what is the best approach. So when you see something happening, you need to make sure you're aware of what's happening and what's going on in order to, in your head, go through these different options and then make a decision and get involved. The first way to be an active bystander is by direct intervening. Direct intervening is what most people think about when people say like, oh, take action, get involved. This means that you're going to either physically step yourself into the situation or you're going to somehow directly intervene with what's happening. You're being a method to get the person who is a victim to safety. One way to direct intervene that a lot of people don't think about is just to physically place yourself next to whoever is the victim. So whoever is being harassed or whoever is being yelled at or assaulted or whatever is happening, to put yourself physically either between the person who is hurting them and them, or to physically stand next to them, because there really is safety in numbers. If you don't know how to direct intervene, that is one way to do it. Another way to direct intervene would be to get in the harasser's face and start like talking to them and trying to get in between what is happening and stop what's happening from happening. The next way to be an active bystander is to distract. any way that you can get into the situation and distract either the person who is inflicting the harm or the person that is being harmed, that is one way to be an active bystander. You can be creative with this too. You can go up to the person who is inflicting harm and ask them where their car is because you think it's getting towed. You can ask the person who is being victimized for something or distract them in some other way. This works really well for people who are scared of direct confrontation and don't really know what to do. Distraction is a great option for you. When you distract either the harasser or the person who's being harassed, you give the opportunity, if just for a second, to break the situation and potentially get the person who's being harassed away from the person who is harassing them. The next way you can be an active bystander is by delegation. So going and finding someone that can help. If you're a person who doesn't feel safe in situations in which there is fights or potential crimes happening and you don't want to get yourself involved, one way that you can protect yourself and stay safe but still take action is by going and finding someone who can intervene and get the situation to be resolved. A lot of times people assume that when people are talking about delegation that they're referring to police, and that is not necessarily what this is referring to. This is referring to anyone who has the power or the capabilities, whether it is conflict resolution or the physical abilities, whatever abilities they may have that makes them capable of helping, getting someone else and getting that person involved instead of you. But you're doing something by going and getting someone, and that is taking action. The final way that you can be an active bystander is delay. So what delay means is you are following up with a person who was victimized in one way or another. Maybe you're following up and you're offering them assistance. Maybe when the person leaves, you're helping support them in whatever ways that they need to be supported, whether it's calling someone or helping them get to the hospital or some sort of assistance that you can provide after the situation has been resolved. Then you are still being an active bystander. You're still supporting the person who's a victim and helping them out. So if you don't feel safe getting involved and you also don't have anyone that you can delegate to or help to get involved, one way that you can help is by supporting the person who is being harmed in any way that you can after the fact. Maybe this means helping them get resources. Maybe this means getting them some food. Maybe this means helping them to their car or giving them a ride or whatever that looks like for you in that situation. That's what you can do. So those are the 4 ways that you can be an active bystander when you see something happening. Direct, distract, delegate, and delay. So next time you see something happening, do something about it. Pick one of the 4 after you assess the situation and take action, because it's our responsibility to keep our skate community safe. And the world is a scary place, and we skate in the world. So let's do our best to protect one another. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Queer Girl Straight Skates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support me or my work, you can go on my Patreon or you can shop on my website, cheerstothequeers.com. I have a bunch of cool stuff up there. And most importantly, cheers to the queers! So if you ever see something, you say something, okay? You do something if you see something happen. You gotta protect all the other French bulldogs in the world. Yeah. I got a Red Bull soul.